Text 58. Putra soka tura sarve pandava saha krishnaya swanam mritanam yat krityam chakrur nirhara nadikam. Translation. Thereafter the sons of Pandu and Draupadi, overwhelmed with grief, performed the proper rituals for the dead bodies of their relatives. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports of the first canto, 7th chapter of Srimad Bhagvatam, entitled The Son of Drona Punished. Okay. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for coming to Srimad Bhagavatam class today. So, we just read the last few verses of this chapter. There's not really any purport. We'll continue on to the next volume, but before that we can quickly recap what we saw in this chapter. So, obviously we saw at the start how Aswatthama, he killed the 5 sleeping sons of the Pandavas. At night he snuck in and just mercilessly slaughtered them. Then the Pandavas, obviously they were furious and they went chasing, especially Arjuna and Krishna, they went chasing after Aswatthama. They caught him and then Arjuna tied him up, bound him up just like an animal in ropes, and then they brought him back to the camp of the Pandavas. And initially we saw how at the start Arjuna, he was very furious, very angry with Aswatthama. It's mentioned his eyes were just like red hot copper balls. So he was so furious, so angry. But later on, after he bound him up, he started feeling compassion. He started feeling sorry for Aswatthama. And then, his heart softened, and then he was hesitating to kill Aswatthama. Even though on the other side, Krishna, he was instructing Arjuna, Arjuna, you should kill him. This is your duty, this is your dharma. Don't think that he's a Brahmana, because one's not a Brahmana by his birth, but one's a Brahmana by his actions. So Krishna was explaining to Arjuna that because he has committed so many terrible acts, by his actions, he is even lower than a Shudra. So for such a personality, you shouldn't, be overcome by sentiment and think, oh, he's a Brahmana, I shouldn't kill him. But actually by his actions, he's like a Shudra. So you have every right to kill him. And secondly, Krishna was explaining he's an aggressor. And it's justified that if someone is an aggressor, then, you can kill him and you don't get any sin for that. Thirdly, Krishna is explaining if someone does some murder or some very sinful act, if he's not punished, then what will happen in his next life, he has to suffer for the results, for the consequences. So Krishna, like Prabhupada is explaining in his purport that, say if someone commits a murder, and if he doesn't get the death penalty, then because he didn't get punished in this life, for not just the next life, but for many lifetimes, he has to suffer, just to counteract that karma of murdering someone. So that's why in Vedic culture, Prabhupada explains, if someone is a murderer, someone has killed another living entity, then the punishment is to give them the death penalty. And by giving them death penalty, their sins is nullified. And they won't get a reaction for that in the next life or the future lifetimes. So that way, the murderer, it's for the benefit of the murderer, the death penalty is given. So like this, Krishna is giving, from different angles of the Shastras, different reasons of why Aswatthama, he should be killed. But still, Arjuna, being a very soft-hearted, compassionate devotee, he's overcome by compassion. And he's seeing the condition of Aswatthama all bound up like an animal, struggling. And he's feeling sorry to kill him, and he wants to release him. So Arjuna, he doesn't have the strength, being overcome by compassion, to kill Aswatthama. So then Arjuna, he just puts forward Aswatthama to his wife Draupadi and asks, okay, Draupadi, you decide what to do with him. And Draupadi also, she takes up the similar mood of a Vaishnava, and she is also overcome by compassion for Aswatthama. Even though it's her 5 sons that Aswatthama has killed, still, she's feeling sorry for Aswatthama. So this is the nature of a devotee. Even though others might do bad things to them, a devotee, Shastra explains, a devotee has no enemy. He's not inimical to anyone. Even though someone else might be inimical to him, someone else might be giving him a hard time and harassing him, torturing him, still he doesn't regard anyone else as his enemy. Classical case, is Prahlad Maharaj, we see. Prahlad Maharaj's father, Hiranyakashipu, he tried to torture and murder his son, Prahlad, in so many different ways. So many different times he tried to torture Prahlad Maharaj. But Prahlad Maharaj, still, even in the end, when Lord Nrsimhadev killed his father, and Lord Nrsimhadev asked, for a benediction, what did Prahlad Maharaj ask? Prahlad Maharaj asked, please, I'm concerned about the welfare of my father. Please liberate my father. He's done so many sinful acts. I don't want him to go and suffer on the hellish planets. You please liberate him. So when we read that, naturally the question comes to mind, why is Prahlad Maharaj, out of all the things you could pray for, he's asking for the welfare of his father? The same person who tried to kill and torture him in so many different ways, repeatedly, he's asking for the welfare of that person. So through all these examples, like through the Pandavas, Draupadi, Arjuna, especially Prahlad Maharaj, we see the nature of a true devotee of the Lord, how he considers no one as his enemy. He doesn't hold any grudge against any other living entity. Even though they might cause harm to him, he's very detached. He just accepts everything as the mercy of the Lord. He is fully surrendered to Krishna. So that's the main thing that we can, in terms of like Vaishnava qualities, that's the main lesson we can learn from this chapter, from the character of Arjuna and Draupadi and the other Pandavas. So, yeah, on one hand, Krishna was instructing Arjuna through Shastra, according to Shastra, you should kill him. On the other hand, Draupadi, she also was quoting from Shastra, and she was also giving different reasons of why Aswatthama should be killed. First thing she's saying is that Aswatthama, he's a Brahmana, he's the son of a Brahmana, how can we kill a Brahmana? Second thing she's saying is that he's the son of our guru, Dronacharya, and because of Dronacharya's mercy only, you learned all this military science. And in the absence of the father, the son is the representative of the father. So in Vedic culture, like the son, he's supposed to represent the father. So if we kill Aswatthama, it's like killing our own guru. It's like killing Dronacharya, because Aswatthama should be considered non-different from his father. So the first argument she uses is that he's a Brahmana. Second argument she uses that he's the representative of our guru. How can we kill our own guru? Third thing Draupadi says is that if one commits an offense against a Brahmana, if one does some harm to the Brahmana class, then there will be severe karmic reactions inflicted not only upon that person, but upon that person's family. So she's explaining how, as a reaction to, a prad to Brahmanas, or offense to a Brahmana, or killing a Brahmana, the reaction is that not only does one himself get burnt up by the karmic reactions, but one's whole family gets implicated in that. So we were discussing a few days ago examples of this, like we see of King Vena, because of his offenses to Brahmanas. The Brahmanas, they themselves, they killed King Vena by chanting mantras. And obviously the other example we discussed was the example of Ravana. Ravana was just going all around the universe, harassing Brahmanas everywhere. Wherever he saw Brahmanas doing sacrifice for Vishnu, he would harass them, stop the sacrifice, kill the Brahmanas there, torture them. So much harassment he gave. And because of that, Ravana was accumulating so many curses from different personalities throughout the universe. And as a result of that, not only did Ravana, he himself, get killed and destroyed, but his whole city, the entire city of Lanka, along with all of his associates, along with all the Rakshasas, they all got killed as a result of that. So then finally we came to the scene yesterday, where Arjuna now has to decide what to do. On one hand, there's Krishna telling him, you should kill him. These are all the Shastric injunctions. It's according to Shastra. This is what you should kill him. On the other hand, there's Draupadi, backed up by Maharaj Yudhishthira and the other Pandava brothers, except for Bhima. Bhima is also willing to kill Aswatthama. So on the other hand, it's Draupadi, Yudhishthira, and they're also giving different instructions from the Shastras. And they're saying, he should not be killed. So now Arjuna is in a confused, bewildered state. What should he do? From both sides, they're quoting Shastra. Different parts of Shastra, but the conclusion of both sides is different. One side is saying, according to Shastra, we should kill him. Other side is saying, according to Shastra, we should not kill him. So what should he do? So Krishna is seeing this, seeing the perplexed face of Arjuna, Krishna smiles. And then Krishna helps Arjuna out, helps his pure devotee out in this troublesome situation and instructs him. Krishna gives him a hint. In yesterday's verse we saw, or day before yesterday, Krishna says to Arjuna that you should kill him and not kill him. So when Arjuna he hears this, he immediately understands what he should do. So throughout the Bhagavatam, Krishna book, we see how the devotees of Krishna, the intelligence is so sharp and intelligent, so sharp actually. Just, by hearing one line or one word from Krishna, they immediately get the idea, okay, this is what I should do. This is what Krishna wants me to do, and they do it immediately. So Arjuna, just by hearing this one instruction from Krishna, that you should kill him and not kill him, he immediately understands what he should do. So that's what we're reading in today's last few verses of chapter. What Arjuna does, he takes his sword and then he cuts off both his hair and the jewel on Aswathama's head. And this jewel used to give Aswathama. It was like a boon he got from one of the demigods, and because of this boon, Aswathama had a lot of power, and a lot of opulence. So when this jewel and his hair was taken off from his head, we read in today's verse that he lost all bodily luster, and all strength, everything. He was just, he became so weak, emaciated. And this was considered as killing, even though he didn't get killed, it's considered as killing because it's mentioned that for a Kshatriya, dishonor is worse than death. So this we read in Bhagavad Gita. Like in 2nd chapter, Krishna is inciting Arjuna to fight by telling him, Arjuna, if you don't fight and if you run away from the battlefield, then all the opposing soldiers on the battlefield, they'll ridicule you, they make fun of you, they'll look at you, this Arjuna, he's a coward, he ran away from the battlefield, not fighting, he's scared of our military strength. That's why Arjuna ran away in fear. And for this, when this comes to you, Arjuna, this will be worse than death. Because for a Kshatriya, dishonor is worse than death. So we saw how Krishna explains this in the Bhagavad Gita. So that's why when this happened to Aswathama, when his hair got chopped off, his jewel got taken away, and then, he was just, bound up like an animal and then released and, outcast from the kingdom. This was worse than death for Aswathama actually. So in that way, Aswathama got killed. At the same time, he didn't get killed. He was still alive. So in this way, Arjuna, he solved this problem. So in that way, we finish this chapter. We will continue on to the next chapter. Okay, the next chapter is titled Prayers by Queen Kunti. Chapter 8, and Maharaj Parikshit saved. I'll read the first text 1. Sutta vacha atate samparetanam swanam udakamichatam datum sakrishna gangayam puraskritya yayustriyaha. Translation, Sutta Goswami said, thereafter the Pandavas, desiring to deliver water to the dead relatives who had desired it, went to the Ganges with Draupadi. The ladies walked in front. Purport, to date it is the custom in Hindu society to go to the Ganges or any other sacred river to take bath when death occurs in the family. Each of the family members pours a potful of the Ganges water for the departed soul and walks in a procession with the ladies in the front. The Pandavas also followed the rules more than 5,000 years ago. Lord Krishna, being a cousin of the Pandavas, was also amongst the family members. So after this whole scene of Aswathama is finished, Aswathama has been punished and released. Next chapter we're hearing that thereafter, the Pandavas, they went to the Ganges along with Draupadi, and now they're offering Ganges water for the benefit of the dead relatives. So obviously from Mahabharata, from Bhagavatam, we understand that at the end of the Battle of Kurukshetra, like pretty much everyone who participated in the battlefield, they were all slaughtered, they were all killed. Only few people were left remaining, like the Pandavas. So many dead soldiers, so many dead relatives, friends, family, because actually the fight was amongst family members. The Kauravas and the Pandavas, they were both related. So many dead relatives is mentioned here were on the battle of Kurukshetra, and now they're offering Ganges water for the benefit of the departed souls. So Prabhupada is writing, it's custom among family members to pour a potful of Ganges water for the departed soul, and walks in a procession with the ladies in the front. So this is to help the departed soul to attain a higher destination. So in Vedic culture, the Ganges water, it's given great significance. So we can talk a bit about Mother Ganga, which everyone has heard of. So originally, actually, it's mentioned the story of how Mother Ganga actually descended is given in 9th canto of Bhagavatam. So there was once this king named Maharaj Bhagirath. And some of Maharaj Bhagirath's forefathers, it's like a different story. They were killed by, not killed, once they lost like one of their sacrificial horse, and they were in search, and then they happened to find that horse near Kapila Muni's ashram. So when they saw that sacrificial horse next to Kapila Muni's ashram, they mistook Kapila Muni of having stolen that horse. So in great anger, all these different sons of a great king, they all started proceeding towards Lord Kapila Muni's ashram to kill Lord Kapila Dev, even though he's the supreme personality of Godhead. And because of that offense to the Supreme Lord, because of the offense to the Supreme Lord, it's mentioned that their bodies just got self-immolated. The fire within their own body, it just rose in temperature, and they themselves just lit themselves up. And all of those princes, they all just got burnt alive, just due to their own, inside everyone's body there's fire, and that fire just increased, and they all got burnt to ashes. So Maharaj Bhagirath, he knew this, that his forefathers previously, they were all burnt to ashes, and who knows where they are, they'll be suffering in some other planets. So for the benefit of his forefathers, to help them get elevated to some higher destination, Maharaj Bhagirath, he started doing severe austerities and penances. And the purpose of all of his austerities was to bring Mother Ganga down to planet Earth. So by Mother Ganga's mercy, his forefathers, like you're hearing today, that for departed souls, one takes a pot full of Ganges water and then offers it for the benefit of departed soul. So that's why Maharaj Bhagirath, he was doing all these tapasya and austerities to bring Mother Ganga down. So he did severe austerities, for a long time, and then finally Mother Ganga, she descended. Mother Ganga personified. She gave him darshan, and Mother Ganga asked, what would you like? Well, she understood that he was doing this to ask her to descend, but Mother Ganga said, I can come, but I have two conditions. If you can fulfill these two conditions, then I'm happy to descend down to planet Earth and help you out. And what was those two conditions? Firstly, she said that if I descend, from the top of the universe and come all the way down here, when I fall on planet Earth, the impact will be so great that, like if you imagine water from the top of the universe coming, and when it lands on planet Earth, the force will be like so powerful that the Ganges will just go straight through the planet Earth. It will just create a hole and just go straight through and then go towards the lower planetary systems. So that was the first condition. She's saying that if I come, then someone needs to, nullify the impact of the force when I come all the way from the top of the universe down. Otherwise, if someone can't nullify that force, then, there'll be a big hole going through planet Earth, and that will be, chaos for all the living entities planet Earth. So then Maharaj Bhagirath says, don't worry, that's okay. I'll ask Lord Shiva to do it. So then he approaches Shiva, and then Shiva says, yeah, no worries, I'll take care of it. Ganges water is considered to be it's considered to be the water that has washed Vishnu's lotus feet, Krishna's lotus feet. So it's the most, it's Chandramrit, it's the most purifying water. So Lord Shiva was, more than happy to take the water which is mixed with the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord on his head. So then Lord Shiva agrees that when the Ganges comes, that he will sustain the impact of the Ganges. So that's why it's mentioned Ganges first comes, descends from the higher planetary systems, and when he comes here to Mrityuloka, Lord Shiva, he takes the impact on his head, and then from Lord Shiva's head, it flows down from the Himalayas. So first condition, that way Maharaj Bhagirath is satisfied. Second condition, Mother Ganga, she asks, is that, okay, I'll come to Mrityuloka, to planet Earth, but so many different sinful living entities, they'll all take bath in me. And when they take bath, all their sins that they've accumulated will all get, washed away in my waters, and it all gets stored in my waters. And then slowly over time, all these sinful reactions of so many sinful men will just accumulate more and more and more in me. And how can I get free from all these sins, I don't want to, hold all these, so many countless sins of so many sinful living entities. I need a way to get purified of all these sins. There are different living entities, they'll come and dump in my waters. So then, to satisfy that, who can say how Maharaj Bhagirath satisfied that request? Yes, Yeshua. Yes. So Maharaj Bhagirath, he told Mother Ganga that don't worry, all these sins that are different sinful living entities dump in your waters will all get nullified, will all get kicked out of your waters. Because when saintly persons, pure devotees of the Lord, they come and take bath in your water, then what they'll do, they will, destroy all these sins that are present in your waters. So that's the Prabhupada advice. That's like the power of a Vaishnava. The Vaishnava is so powerful, so pure, that he even purifies Mother Ganga herself. Otherwise, Mother Ganga, she wouldn't have agreed to descend, to planet Earth. Otherwise, when we go to India, there would be no Ganga. Only because devotees of the Lord are present, and only because devotees of the Lord take bath in Mother Ganga, she gets purified of the sins. So devotees of the Lord, they're even more special, more pure than even Mother Ganga herself, because they even purify Ganga. So in this way, we can just understand, what level pure devotees of the Lord are. And Ganges is no ordinary water, actually. Like different sections of Bhagavatam, different descriptions are given of what actually Ganga, what actually is the water of the Ganges. One section of Bhagavatam explains how in the Vamanadev pastime in 8th canto, that when Lord Vamanadev, he's taking his 3 steps, and he's covering, he starts lifting his feet, and as he's lifting his feet, he's covering all the different planetary systems. And finally, we've all, whoever's seen that picture, you can see, Lord Vamanadev, he's lifting his feet slowly up. And as he's lifting his feet, he's covering all the different higher planetary systems. And then finally, the feet is rising up, and it's coming towards Brahma Loka, where Lord Brahma is residing. And Brahma sees, this massive transcendental feet of the Supreme Lord is slowly coming, rising up towards his planet. And Brahma immediately sees the lotus feet and he immediately recognizes, okay, this is the lotus feet of my Supreme Lord Vishnu. Because, whenever Prabhupada mentioned, whenever incarnation of the Lord comes, one way to recognize the incarnation is through there'll be some marks on the Lord's body, transcendental signs. So Brahma, by seeing the lotus feet of Lord Vamanadev, he can immediately understand from the symbols and from the massive size of the feet or the effulgence coming out, that this is none other than Vishnu's lotus feet. So then Brahma, in great haste, it's mentioned in Bhagavatam, he immediately calls all of his associates, all of his residents, and he gathers, all the different paraphernalia to worship Lord Vamanadev. Just like, if we, at the last moment, we hear that, or some sannyasi Maharaj is coming to visit Sydney Temple today, at 12 o'clock, then immediately, and we only have 1 hour or half an hour, everyone will be rushing here and there, getting katals, mridanga, flowers, getting different things to receive, that great personality who is coming. In the same way, Brahma, when he sees the lotus feet of Lord Vamanadev slowly rising up, coming towards his planet, then Brahma immediately gathers all of his followers, they get different articles to worship the Supreme Lord. And then Brahma, from his own water pot, he washes the lotus feet of Lord Vamanadev. And it's mentioned in Bhagavatam that same water that Lord Brahma, he used to wash Lord Vamanadev's feet, that water is considered as the Ganges, as Mother Ganga. So that's one description given of what exactly is the water of the Ganges. Second description given is that Lord Vamanadev, he continues lifting his feet more and more up, and then it's mentioned that his toe, or his toenail, it creates a hole on the top of the universe. So Lord Vamanadev is raising his feet up and up, and then after he goes past Brahma Loka, it's mentioned he accidentally, just touches the covering of the universe. And when he touches the covering of the universe, there's a hole created in the covering of the universe. And when that hole is created, the water that's there in, like when we understand the, the material world, spiritual world, outside of the material, like I think there's one picture on that over there. Like Mahavishnu, he's lying down, and from his bodily pores, countless material universes are coming out. From each of his bodily pores, the material universe is coming out. And all these material universes, they're kind of like Prabhupada says, they're like soccer balls, footballs. And all these footballs, they're floating on water. So, and that water, which all these material universes floating on, is known as Karana Ocean. And another name of Mahavishnu is Karana Dakshina Vishnu. So Karana Ocean is called the causal ocean. So when the whole is created by Lord Vamanadev's feet in the covering of the material universe, the water from that Karana Ocean on which Mahavishnu is lying down, it rushes in from the spiritual world to the material world. So that's another description given of what Ganga is. So Ganga is non-different from, is basically the water coming from Karana Ocean down to the material world. And another place Prabhupada writes that Ganga is also considered to be like Vishnu himself. So there's 3 different descriptions given of what actually Mother Ganga is. So Prabhupada writes, so which one is it? Is it this one, that one, or the other one? So Prabhupada says we should take it that the Ganges water is a combination of all 3. So the Ganges water is both, the water that washed Lord Vamanadev's feet, plus it's the water that came from the spiritual world from Karana Ocean, plus it's considered to be non-different from Vishnu. So Ganges water is a combination of all 3 of these different waters. So from this we understand, how powerful, how spiritually potent the Ganges water is. But that same spiritually potent Ganges water is purified by the pure devotees of the Lord. So from that we can understand, how powerful are pure devotees of the Lord. Pure devotees of the Lord, they even purify Ganga, which is the water, which is Chanamrit of Vishnu, which is the water coming from the spiritual world. So that's why the Shastras repeatedly emphasize that one needs to take shelter of a pure devotee of the Lord. In another place in Bhagavatam, it's mentioned that only after a long time of bathing in Ganga does one get purified. So if you want to get purified by taking bath in the Ganga, Shastra explains you have to take bath repeatedly in the Ganges. Day in, day out. After a long time taking bath in Ganga, slowly, all the sins will get purified. But on the other hand, it's mentioned when one takes the association of a pure devotee of the Lord, on the other hand, on this side, the effects of the sinful reactions going away happens immediately. Just by a moment's association of pure devotee, or just by seeing a pure devotee of the Lord is mentioned, all the sins one has accumulated can immediately get vanquished. So in this way, Bhagavatam glorifies the pure devotees of the Lord. On one hand, we have, you have to take baths slowly in Ganga for numerous times. Then slowly sins will get eradicated. On the other hand, just by a moment's association with a pure devotee of the Lord, just by seeing them, some or other coming in contact with them, just, in one moment, immediately, one can get purified of all sins. So in this way, we get so many amazing descriptions of the power of the pure devotees of the Lord. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, obviously that's the verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Sastra Koi, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes that just by a moment's association with the pure devotee of the Lord, one can attain all perfection. And this is the conclusion of all the Shastras. All the Shastras, they proclaim this one point. So any problem we have, according to this verse by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, any problem we have, anything we want to do, we want to, be more shastric, we want to learn, be a better kirtan singer, we want to be, a better devotee with more Vaishnava qualities, we want to learn, particular service, then the way to perfect, all these spiritual desires we have is by the association of devotees. By the association of devotees, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, one can attain all perfection. Any perfection you like, either in this field, that field, the other field, just by associating with devotees, we can attain it easily. And if we think about it, contemplate it, then we can understand this, practically through our own life, that whatever it is that we've learned in our own spiritual life, we've learned from association with other devotees, right? Like, there's very few things that we just picked up ourselves. Even the few things we picked ourselves, if you think about it deeply, we come to understand that actually, no, I didn't actually learn this myself. At the end of the day, I also learned from another devotee. Just like, learning how to play, musical instruments or singing in kirtan, we didn't just learn by ourselves, we had to learn from other devotees how to play mridanga, how to sing in kirtan, how to play kathas. And philosophy, we didn't just learn ourselves, We had to learn by Prabhupada's mercy. We had to learn Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and the association other devotees. And, following the four regular principles, developing Vaishnava qualities, all this, if we really think about it deeply, we can understand it. All of this is attained by the Sangha, or the association of devotees. That's why the association of devotees is considered to be the most precious thing. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the conversation between Lord Rama, between Ramananda Roy and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he takes the position of a student and he puts Ramananda Roy as in the position of a teacher. And Ramananda Roy is actually Arjuna. Arjuna coming as Ramananda Roy in, for the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. So in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna's position was that of a student, and Krishna's position was that of a teacher. But in Chaitanya Leela, they swap roles, they swap positions. Krishna, he takes the position of a student as Lord Chaitanya, and Arjuna now, as Ramananda Roy, he takes the position of a teacher. So sometimes Krishna, he relishes like this. He relishes, just like, in Damodar Leela, Krishna relishes being chased by Mother Yasoda, relishes, the anger of the elder gopis and the chastisements of the younger gopis. So in the same way, Krishna, he relishes being instructed by his pure devotees also. So in the famous conversation between Ramananda Roy and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks many different questions to Ramananda Roy. One of the questions he asks Ramananda Roy is, what is the most precious, what is the most valuable thing in this whole world, in this whole universe? What is the most precious, most valuable thing? And the answer Ramananda Roy gives is the association of devotees of the Lord. That is the most precious thing one can have. So a true wealthy person is one who has the association of devotees. The more, so from that we can judge, how fortunate we are, how wealthy we are, by seeing how much time am I getting to spend in the association of other devotees. More sadhu sangha we have, more blessed we are, more fortunate we are, more wealthy we are. And that's why a devotee, he should always be working and endeavoring to get more and more sadhu sangha, to get more and more time with other devotees of the Lord. Just like in the materialistic conception, according to them, the most precious thing one can have is money, right? The more money you have, the more things you can buy, and everything will just work out perfectly for you. More money you have, you can buy this, you can buy that, and like that you can solve all the problems of life. Any problem you have, you just buy a certain thing, and you'll be solved, you'll be happy, and you'll be peaceful. So that's why the materialist, he struggles so hard just to get money. And he's always looking for opportunities, where can I get more money? Okay, this job gives me this much money, but if I go into that job, I'll get even more money. There'll be bonuses, there'll be more incentives. So like this, the materialist, his vision is just trained to just see money everywhere. Wherever he's looking, he's seeing, where can I save money, where can I gain more money? And like this, his whole endeavor, his whole life is based on working hard just for that one thing. Because according to materialists, that's the perfection of life. Like if I get this is the most valuable thing, I'll be happy and satisfied. But when we read Shastra, Ramananda Roy, he's saying, actually it's not money that's the most valuable thing. It's actually the association of devotees of the Lord. So just like the materialist is always hankering, where can I get more money, where can I save money? So in the same way as devotees, when we understand that association of devotees is the most wealthy thing, in that same vigor, in that same mood that the materialist hankers after money, in that same mood, same vigor, we should also hanker after the association of devotees. We should always seek out opportunities, Okay, this part of the week I have some free time, let me go, instead of wasting that time just spacing out, here or at home, let me go to the temple, or let me go to this devotee's house. Let me, hear some Krishna Katha, let me do some service in the temple. Let me go help out in this program, in this devotee's house. So in that way, a devotee is always planning, how in all the spare time he has in his life, how he can utilize that to capture the opportunity of sadhu sangha. More sadhu sangha we can capture, more wealthy we become, more fortunate we are, and the more we advance in spiritual life. And repeatedly through all the Shastras, this theme of association of devotees is highlighted again and again and again. And if you just analyze the prayers of the Lord, Like Bhagavatam is full of different prayers. Bhagavatam is just whole book full of devotees of the Lord and how the devotees of the Lord are doing devotional service and how Krishna is reciprocating with them. So many parts of Bhagavatam, we see that a particular devotee who's doing, very nice devotional service, and then Krishna being pleased, he will come, Vishnu will come on Garuda, and then he would give that devotee audience, and you ask me whatever you like, any benediction one, I'll grant you. And then devotee will offer different prayers and ask for a benediction. And if you analyze the different prayers of different devotees in Bhagavatam, like so many devotees, nearly all the devotees you see in Bhagavatam, they all, one common thing that they all ask for is for the association of devotees. Like recently I read 4th canto, and first thing we see is Dhruva Maharaj, how he did austerities, devotional service, followed Narad Muni's instructions, and after 6 months, Vishnu comes himself and gives him audience. And Dhruva Maharaj, he offers different prayers, and if you look, one of the prayers he asks for the boon to have the association of the devotees of the Lord. So Dhruva Maharaj, he asked for this. And then later on, in 4th canto, Maharaj Prithu, he also asked for the same thing. Then later on, so Maharaj Prithu is a descendant of Dhruva Maharaj. And then continuing on from Prithu Maharaj, one of the descendants of Prithu Maharaj, the Prachetas. They're like 9 brothers, 9 princes, and they went and they did severe austerities underneath the water for like 10,000 years. And their guru, or their spiritual master, was Lord Shiva. So following Lord Shiva's instructions, they did devotional service, and then they pleased Vishnu, and then Vishnu again, he comes. And then again the Prachetas, Vishnu asks, please ask me for any benediction. First thing the Pracheta says that actually, my Lord, just by seeing you, we're satisfied. We don't need anything, Just like Prachetas, they give an example. That just like Dhruva Maharaj, he gives the example, I was searching for broken pieces of glass, but now I've achieved the diamond. What more can I ask for? So just like that, just as Dhruva Maharaj, he gives this example to Vishnu, telling him that I'm fully satisfied, I don't need anything. I was going after material desires, but now that I've seen you, my life is perfect. I'm just fully satisfied, taking darshan of you, engaging in your devotional service. Same thing Prachetas say, but they give a different example. The Prachetas, they say, my dear Lord, just like a bee, when a bee goes, bee is always searching for honey. And if the bee somehow or other comes across a parijata tree. So parijata tree is like a heavenly tree in the heavenly planets. And it's mentioned that the parijata tree can give unlimited honey. The flowers of the parijata tree gives unlimited honey, which is different obviously to the flowers in material world. So ordinary, when the bee is going from flower to flower in the material world, he will take some honey in one flower, but then the honey will finish in this flower, then he will go to another flower, take some more from there, then go another flower. There's a limited amount of honey in each flower in the mature world. When the parijata tree, each flower has, unlimited honey. So Prachetas explain, just as a bee, if it comes across a parijata tree, then for the bee, there's no reason to leave the tree. He can just stay there his whole life because it's getting unlimited honey. Why should he move from the parijata tree? So in the same way, the Prachetas explains that now we've come across, the lotus feet of your Lord, of your Lordship. And we're getting everything. We're getting full satisfaction, pleasure, everything from your lotus feet. So what need is there for us to ask for any other benediction? We're fully satisfied just by seeing your lotus feet. We're fully satisfied just by worshipping you. We don't need anything else. So in this way, they give this wonderful example, glorifying Vishnu. Then they say, okay, if there is a benediction that you like to give us, then we simply pray that in our future lifetimes, when we come back to this material world, we just want to be in a particular situation where we have the association of the devotees of the Lord. So Prabhupada, he writes in his purports that the Prachetas, they take a very humble mood. They consider themselves as not pure enough to go back home, back to Godhead. So according to Pracheta, they think, okay, we're not pure enough to go back to Godhead, so most likely we have to come back to this material world in future lifetimes. But just give us this benediction that no matter where we're born in our next life, that we'll be born in a place where we'll have sadhu sangha, where we'll have the association of devotees. So again, we see the Prachetas, they again ask for the same thing. So like this, if you analyze prayers of different devotees throughout Bhagavatam, this benediction of the association of devotees of the Lord is aspired for by all the pure devotees of the Lord. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, again, one of our previous acharyas, he also prays for this, that he says, my dear Lord, I don't mind, even being, like a bug or an ant in the house of a Vaishnava in my next life. Better I became like a fly or a bug in the house of a Vaishnava than I be a Brahma who's not engaged in devotional service. So from this, from the example of the pure devotees of the Lord, by the injunctions of the Shastras, we see that the greatest thing, most valuable thing is the association of devotees. So we should never take devotees' association for granted. And we should always, just like the materialist is always hankering for money, we should always hanker and look for opportunities, to associate with devotees. And through that, we ourselves will get purified much more quickly, like I was explaining before, than we would by taking bath in Ganga. And plus, Prabhupada writes that actually one learns the techniques of devotional service by other devotees. One can't learn by himself. Like any kind of service you take, book distribution, Harinam, singing, kirtan, deity service, cleaning the temple. You can't just make up your own standard. Okay, this is how cleaning should be done. This is how I'll do books. No, you always follow another devotee. Like, no one just goes out and just does it by themselves. Everyone, no matter what service we're doing at the moment, we all learned that service from another devotee. One devotee told us, okay, this is how you clean, this is where the broom is. You clean like this way is more efficient. This is the mop, you put the floor cleaner in the bucket and this will help clean the floor nicely. You go into the pujari department and do some pujari service. You learn how to do deity service from another devotee. He told you, okay, this is how you do paraphernalia, this is how you dress the deities, this is how you cook for the deities, these are the standards. This is how you sing in kirtan, you start with slow, then you go medium, fast, like that. At the end you sing this. So Prabhupada, he writes in one purport that any service we do, we all learn that service by the mercy of another devotee. We don't learn anything by our own endeavor. So like this, if we contemplate, we can understand, the value of sadhu sangha. And okay, I'll stop here. So yeah, today we just briefly recapped the last volume of the story of Asvatthama, how he killed the 5 sons Pandavas, and how Draupadi, Arjuna, they displayed the Vaishnava quality, of compassion, forgiveness, and then how Krishna helped Arjuna out in a difficult situation where he had to do 2 contradictory things. He had to kill him and not kill him. And then now we're just starting the new chapter. In the new chapter, we're hearing about how the Pandavas, they're offering Ganges water for the benefit of all the dead relatives present on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So we briefly discussed about, where actually Ganges came from, how Maharaj Bhagirata, he did austerities to bring Mother Ganga out. We talked about the power of Ganga and how even more powerful than the Ganges water is the association of pure devotees of Lord who carry Vishnu himself in their hearts. And then we talked about the importance of associating with devotees and how powerful they are, how their association is the most valuable, and we should always hanker for their sangha. Okay, are there any questions or comments from anyone before we finish? Okay, thank you. Gantra Srimad Bhagvatam ki jai, Jaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Gaur Premanande.